What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with some updates of Toronto Pro and some of the athletes who are going to be competing there in about 4 days time from now. First of all, let's talk about the favorite to win this show, Akim Williams. Because based on his performance from the Arnold Classic Ohio as well as UK, most of the predictions that I have seen have him in the first spot, and rightfully so. The only thing that Akim needs to worry about here for Toronto Pro is that he needs to come in tighter for the prejudging as well as for the finals. Because this isn't going to be a 2-day show. Unlike the Arnold Ohio as well as the Arnold UK, this is going to be a wrap in just 1 day. So he needs to be spot on at both the prejudging as well as for the finals. Because if you guys remember, Akim Williams was kind of at the Arnold Classic prejudging. He wasn't at his best, and that is why he was in the 6th place. But him and his new coach Chris were able to turn things around in just 24 hours for the finals. And the way he transformed his physique, that was just exceptional. He was a lot harder, a lot tighter. His conditioning was absolutely spot on, and that is why the judges awarded him 4th place for the finals. And this wasn't the first time Chris was totally able to transform a physique from the prejudging to the finals. If you guys remember back in 2017, the late Sean Roden did not show up at his best, and he wasn't making the first call out after the prejudging, and he came back extremely strong for the finals, and he ended up finishing 5th. Now, if we talk about Akim Williams' recent update, he looks absolutely spot on. He looks really great. Just look at the width on his shoulders and the ratio with his small waist. That is just nuts. So this is such an incredible physique. Especially when he is truly on. He can be really dangerous. He takes up a lot of space on the stage. And he has a big presence. And other than just one shot, the back double bicep, he has no weaknesses. He is very complete. So I think he is the favorite to win this show. But do let me know what you guys think. Next up, we have an update from the Egyptian tank, Hassan Mostafa. So 4 days out of the show, going through some of the last workouts under the guidance of his new coach, Dorian Hamilton. And now that he is slowly getting rid of all the water, he is looking a lot more impressive now. He is looking more shredded, he is showcasing a lot more detail. His quads are all feathered up, the side leg is showing a lot more detail. And people were a bit confused after watching his posing video yesterday, not realizing that that video was taken roughly 12 days out of the show. And many thought that he was looking kinda off. But here in these new and recent updates, he is looking right on the money. The back shots are absolutely spectacular, and that has always been the case. Hassan's back shots are always superb, especially his back double biceps is absolutely nuts. So we have seen Hassan in quite impressive shapes a few times in the last couple of years, but at the same time, we have seen Hassan in less than an ideal condition in the past. He looked really great at the Olympia last year, where he was able to place 11th, despite having a tricep tear. And that was his highest placing at the Olympia level. He looked so great at the same show Toronto Pro last year. But the way he showed up for the Orlando Pro, where he lost to a guy like Phil Klahar, that wasn't a good look. So Hassan Mostafa needs to play to his strengths. He isn't a guy who is going to have the most pretty or the most aesthetic physique on the stage. But he can definitely be the most muscular guy and the most freaky looking guy on the stage here at Toronto Pro. And that is his strength. Combine all that with next level conditioning, and he can be really dangerous. So now all that's left to see is how his hamstrings are looking. Are they ripped enough? Because that was the feedback given to him by the judges last year, that he needs to have more ripped hamstrings and more ripped glutes. So do let me know what you guys think. Can Hassan Mostafa win this show? Next up, we have an update from a guy who can definitely win this show if some of these other guys coming off, and that is Jewett. So there will be absolutely no complaints about his conditioning. I mean, none of us will be surprised if he is absolutely the perfectly peak guy on that stage. Because conditioning has always been his strong suit. Plus, this is the new version of John, and it will be interesting to see how he compares next to the two Olympians. So both Hassan Mostafa as well as Akim Williams have competed at the Olympia level multiple times already. So last year at his men's open debut, we saw that Jewett went toe-to-toe with a guy like Charles Griffin. And Charles Griffin is also a multiple times Olympian. And even though John did not have a proper off-season to grow as an open bodybuilder, but still the man looked extremely impressive even at his men's open debut. And he was extremely competitive next to Charles Griffin. And I don't think anyone would have complained if Jewett won that show against Charles Griffin. That is how close that show was. And it was his supreme conditioning that made John beat guys who were 50 pounds heavier than him. So now that he has had a few months of very productive off-season under his belt, he surely will be a bigger version of himself and he will surely be a lot more dangerous. So he has a great control over his waistline, and those adductors are the best in the game. So looking forward to see him on the stage in a few days' time. And I am 100% sure that he is going to be in the mix for the top spots. These 4 days out physique updates of Tim Budesheim. These are some of the best updates that we have seen from him in the recent past. So Tim does not have the best V-taper, and that is why he isn't able to place high at these shows. Because his conditioning both at California Pro as well as the New York Pro, that was really impressive, but still he placed 7th and 8th at these shows. So the lack of aesthetics and the lack of development in his back, that is what's holding him back, despite having one of the best conditioning. But here in these updates, he is looking hard like a granite, and his symmetry is looking better than some of his showings in the previous years. But still, I cannot say he can place high at this show either, because I still believe his back isn't good enough to make him stand out in a lineup like this one. Because this is gonna be another great show. And it isn't like Tim Budesheim turned pro like a couple of years ago. He has been competing as a professional since 2017. So it's about time he wins his first pro show and qualifies for the Olympia. So Tim is also doing Chicago Pro up next, which will most probably be another stud show. So what are your expectations from Tim this year? Can he place as high as top 3? Next up is the off-season update of Blessing Awodibu. So this is the first proper update that he has posted in a while. So Blessing hasn't competed since Flex Pro Italy last year, which was like one of the most disappointing showing for him. He was expecting to battle it out for the top spots with Regan Grimes and Nathan Diasha, and he ended up placing 5th, behind guys like Roman Fritz and Xiaoming Yang. And originally, Blessing was scheduled to do the entire European tour, but the way his legs just flattened out on the show day, he did not stand a chance against all these guys. So since that time, Blessing is back to the drawing board. He has been in the off-season, and I don't think he plans to compete this year, because we all know he needs more time to grow a stubborn body part. And the legs are one of the hardest body parts to bring up, especially if they are a weak point. So if he wants to bring up his legs, he needs to have more than a few months of off-season time. Now, ever since he turned pro, the best physique that we saw from Blessing was at Indie Pro as well as the New York Pro, back in 2022. Now, even back then he still had weaknesses in terms of his lower half, but his peak for that show was absolutely perfect. Plus, he looked more balanced in those shows compared to the ones he did last year. So right now Blessing is sitting at 300 pounds in a decent shape. So can he bring up his quads to match up to his upper body? Or even up to an extent that he has more of a balance between his upper and lower half? Do let me know what you guys think. Next up, we have the most recent physique update from Martin-Fitzwater. So not really pushing anything right now, waiting for another few weeks before he gets a green signal from his coach and kickstart the Olympia prep. So most of us will be shocked to hear that Martin has been training his arms 3 times a week, because that was his weak area when he competed at Texas Pro back in 2022. But he was able to bring them up in the last 1 year. So this is a major success story for 2024. I mean, being able to push a guy like Nick Walker at the New York Pro, which none of us expected. Not even Nick Walker expected that. That was truly a shocker for the whole bodybuilding world. So Martin is definitely going to be a major player at the Olympia top 10 this year. He has the size, he has the symmetry, he has beautiful shape, he has a small waistline, he is really big up top. He is able to hit a very deep vacuum, and he poses extremely well. And last but not least, he gets in that nasty kind of conditioning, which some of the other guys just cannot. And that is exactly what makes him so dangerous. So the expectations set by himself for his Olympia debut, they are kinda high. He said that he wants to be in the first call-out. And if he comes in, let's say a pound or 2 pounds heavier, with the same kind of conditioning that we saw at the New York Pro, who knows what will happen at the Olympia. But still, cracking top 6, that is gonna be kinda difficult. Now that being said, he for sure isn't gonna get overlooked, especially after that phenomenal performance that he delivered at this year's New York Pro. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.